coming today. My name is Megan Cotter. I represent Exeter, Richmond, and Hopkinton. And we are here today because once again the utility companies think they can squeeze every last dime out of hard-working Rhode Islanders, and the Public Utilities Commission has let them. When I knocked on doors this summer, every single day, I talked to so many folks that are struggling to pay their bills. One particular couple is in the forefront of my mind right now and every day. They were in their late 80s, and they don't know how they can pay their utility bills, their insulin, their food, and their taxes. That's wrong.
Shame.
Shame.
Shame. Shame.
Shame. Shame.
Let me ask you, how many of you here have gotten a raise to cover this rate hike? How many of you can afford higher bills with companies that are making record profits?
No.
31% raise from the CEO of PPL this last year. Making $12 million.
Off our backs.
We are sick and tired of this broken system. Every time they claim they have no choice but to raise costs. That so-called green energy mandates are to blame for rising costs. But that's not true. Prices have gone up and up and up for years, even far before the Act on Climate. So with one hand, Rhode Island Energy is pointing the finger at climate and climate goals. National Grid should have been investing in that for the last few decades.
Yep.
And here we are with their hands in your pockets.
Yep.
Somehow there's always money for executive bonuses, there's always money for shareholders, but you are always left out in the dark.
Yep.
When it comes to regular people, we're just trying to keep the lights on.
Yep.
They get subsidies from the government.
Subsidies from them, that's right. And we're expected to just take it. Well, we're not taking it anymore. We're here to let the PUC know, do your job. Do your job.
Do your job. Do your job. Do your job.
We need to protect the ratepayers, all of us. No more rubber stamps on corporate greed. We demand real oversight. We demand accountability. And we demand that the governor finally appoint to the PUC a fighter for the people, for the public, for the ratepayers. Someone who will actually stand up for us. And we demand that Rhode Islanders come first, not the bottom line, and certainly not this out-of-state monopoly.
Yep.
So PUC, we're here to tell you, loudly and proudly, do your job.
Do your job.
Do your job.
Cut utility bills for families permanently, both now and next winter. And again, we need you to what?
Do your job.
We're watching, we're fighting, and we're not going anywhere.
Thank you, Representative Carter. Your leadership on this issue is inspiring to all of us. My name is Patrick Crowley. I'm the president of the Rhode Island AFL-CIO. We represent 80,000 working women and men across the state of Rhode Island, including, by the way, most of the staff for Rhode Island Energy. So I just want to remind you, if you have to call them to complain about your bill, remember you're probably talking to a union member, and it's not within their power to fix it, but they're going to make sure that your voice gets heard.
That's right.
When we're in this meeting tonight, remember that most of the staff here are members of a union, and they're just trying to make sure that they're doing their job. But let me tell you this, it is one of the oldest tactics in the world, where the corporations try to divide the workers from the customers, where they try to divide people that want to do the right thing for the environment versus pay extra bills. This energy crisis has nothing to do with renewable energy sources.
Yep.
And we here in Rhode Island are leading the way. We passed an act on climate to make sure that we set realistic energy goals. We're making sure that renewable energy is part of our economic infrastructure. We're making sure that union members are there to build it. And we're not going to let some out-of-state corporation try to divide working people.
That's right.
We're not going to let them divide ratepayers. We're not going to let them divide the public from their profits, because we're going to make sure that they understand that the people come first, not their profits. It's the people that come first. So let's get in there, let's testify, and let's make sure our voices are heard. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all for coming today. My name is Asim, and I am the chair of Indivisible Rhode Island. Just very quickly before the actual meeting begins, I'd just like you to take a moment to look around at all the people out here today. All right, there's parents, there's seniors, folks who are working people, students, people just trying to get by and live their lives. We may disagree on national politics, but today we're united by something that affects every single Rhode Islander from every walk of life. The crushing burden of utility bills that keeps us all up at night. While politicians in Washington debate and billionaires like Elon Musk reshape energy markets to boost their own profits and settle their personal grudges, here at home in Rhode Island, families have to make impossible choices. Do we heat our homes or do we fill prescriptions? Do we keep the lights on or put food on the table? I personally have had to make these choices as our home was a single income home for the better part of the last year. This isn't about left or right. This is about corporate monopolies versus everyday Americans. Rhode Island Energy reports incredible profits while our neighbors have gas bills north of $500 and seniors on fixed incomes are choosing between medicine and heat. My elderly neighbors, many of whom are on fixed incomes and have been looking forward to enjoying their retirement, are dealing with a nightmare scenario wherein they cannot keep their heat on in their homes because their Social Security and retirement funds are simply not enough.
That's right.
The simple ability for them to retire in place with dignity is threatened due to Rhode Island Energy's corporate greed. The same corporate greed and influence that's corrupting Washington, it's been bleeding us dry here in Rhode Island for years. So I want to ask you folks in this room quickly a simple question. When are politicians and regulators going to stop doing these utility companies' work for them?
Now.
Now. That's the answer. Now. Rhode Islanders are being forgotten when the PUC allows monopolistic rate increases year after year. Rhode Islanders are being forgotten when they can't heat their homes and the corporation decides to cut off their energy supply in the dead of winter. Rhode Islanders are being forgotten when Rhode Island Energy actively lobbies against sustainable energy solutions that could solve much of the issue at hand. And by the way, sustainable energy solutions should not have to bear the blame for corporations who continue to screw Rhode Islanders into oblivion. That's a lazy argument against doing the right thing for Rhode Islanders and for the planet. We can and should support American energy independence and demand reasonable, fair prices. We can transition to cleaner energy and make it affordable for working families, not just profitable to their shareholders. All right, we can disagree about national politics and stand together for Rhode Island in the face of corporate greed. The PUC works for us, not for Rhode Island Energy. Today, we demand a permanent cut to our bills, not just seasonal, but permanent to put people over profits. This is not political, it is for our survival. All right? And I urge the PUC to make the next best decision because that's exactly what this is. It's not a mistake. It didn't happen by chance. This is a choice to do this. So live with that choice if you want to, but we cannot live with that choice. All right?
That's right.
So Rhode Islanders will remember those who stood with the people, not with the energy monopolies who gouge us every single day. Choose wisely.
Thank you, Asim. I'm going to keep it short because the meeting starts in 3 minutes. But my name is Harrison Tuttle. I see a lot of familiar faces here. If you're new, welcome. I just want to say that all of you made the decision today to come out of your busy schedules, whether that's coming from work or whether that's just leaving the house, and that's truly commendable. As Asim said, this is really about us versus the 1% in our state right now. And so not only if it's not good enough to testify for yourself, but think about today testifying for your neighbor, your family, your sister, that they're going through it and their voice needs to be represented through you today. Thank you.
I just want to say hi again. My name is Megan. I'm a state rep. I represent Exeter, Richmond, and Hopkinton, and I'm a Democrat. what do I have in common with my Republican colleague from Johnston, who's also in the state, is state representative? Representative Facchia and I are both here today because we are going to stand up for our communities. We can't get the calls anymore and sleep at night. We need to put people over profit.
Hi everybody, my name is Daisy and I'm with the George Wiley Center like many of you. I stand before you today because Rhode Island families are struggling under the weight of some of the highest utility rates in the entire country. And with every increase, more and more families are forced into impossible choices. You know, you've heard it and you've experienced it before, heat or food, electricity or rent. No one should have to decide between keeping the lights on and feeding their children, to put an example. Yet, without a percentage of income payment plan, which would lower the utility rates, this is the reality for many of our neighbors here, and many of you, including myself. Rhode Island's transition to renewable energy, like they said before, must not come at the expense of our most vulnerable. Low-income households already pay a disproportionate share of their income towards utilities. And for them, an unexpected spike in energy costs can mean disaster. When the bills become too much to bear, families suffer the trauma of utility termination, plunged into darkness, unable to cook, unable to stay warm, and this isn't fair, it's unhumane.
That's right.
But there is a solution. A percentage of income payment plan would ensure that no household pays more than the reasonable percentage of their income towards utilities. This isn't just a theory, it's been reviewed by policy experts from other states as well, who agree that it could work here in Rhode Island. Other states have successfully implemented PIP programs, and we can too. It's doable and necessary. This is the right thing to do. So we have to urge our leaders, we have to urge PUC to implement a percentage of income payment plan. Thank you.
Thank you.